awarded will be held by by Aviation. So, for example, the OGT, the satellite concourses, and any other design procurements that we would have that would typically go through the Department of Buildings. These contracts will perform the code review, similar to those contracts that Department of Buildings has. We anticipate we would advertise this on the second quarter of 2022, and the estimated contract value is $5 to $10 million. And my understanding is that this is M&W. Next slide, please. The second opportunity in professional services is for RFQ for target market construction management services. This contract was previously out. We are going to re-advertise in the third quarter of 2022. My understanding is that there were some issues with those contracts, and those that had submitted have already been notified by DPS. So again, we anticipate re-advertising of these contracts in the third quarter of 2022. Next slide, please. And as I mentioned earlier, these are construction opportunities through DPS. So these are typical opportunities that you would find in the DPS's website if you're signed up to receive their alerts. So the first one's a restroom modernization program. This one's for Terminal 5. We've completed a couple of projects a few years ago in the domestic terminals, Terminals 1, 2, and 3. This one is for Terminal 5, for those sets of bathrooms that are in the original or the existing part of the building. So not the new building, not the extension part, but the original or the existing building. We anticipate this would be an SBI 1 category, and the advertisement would be here shortly, second quarter of 2022. The estimated contract value is $3 to $5 million. Next slide, please. Terminal building ADA and Terminal 5 building ADA improvements. Again, this is centered, another project that's centered in the Terminal 5 campus, ADA improvements. So this would be throughout the facility in the curb front, and then as identified by our requirement by the FAA, we have to do periodic inspections. And then we just completed an ADA, our own ADA survey as well. So this would leverage both of those studies or surveys that have been performed, and we're going to make some improvements. So this is an SBI 1. We anticipate a second quarter of 2022, so here shortly. And then the estimated contract value is $2 to $3 million. Next slide, please. Terminal parking garage structural investigation and repairs. This is a Midway project. We've just completed a couple of projects that were part of the Midway modernization. Parking garage enhancements was one of them. Out of that design and some of that work, we've identified some repairs needed in the helices. So this project would be would go out to address those issues. We're still trying to figure out if this would fit within one of the SBI or MBI categories. So to be determined yet. This would be advertised here shortly in the second quarter of 2022, and the contract value is $1 to $2 million. Next slide, please. Ring tunnel exhaust system. This is a project in the ring tunnel. This is the primary area within O'Hare that where we have all the major utilities, all the major piping that goes around the campus, Terminal 1, 2, and 3. So this project would address the exhaust fan and some of these other ventilation issues that's part of that ongoing work there. This is an MBI 1. We anticipate an advertisement in the third quarter of 2022, and this is a 10 to 20 million. Next slide, please. Perimeter fence replacement in the Southeast Airfield. This is fencing is important to the airport. It's a special type of fencing where it goes underground and there's some netting so that the wildlife does not get into the airfield and cause either a runway incursion or interfere with any other airside traffic at the airport. So this will address this area in the southeast over by portions of Mannheim and Irving Park Road. This will be an SBI 1 category. This will be advertised in the fourth quarter of 2022, and the estimated contract value is $5 to $10 million. Next slide, please. Combined heat exchanger projects. This is part of HVAC improvements that we've performed throughout the terminal complex. So this addresses Terminal 2, 3, and the Rotunda. And we anticipate this to be an SBI 1 category. And we will advertise here in fourth quarter of 2022. The estimated contract value is $5 to $10 million. Next project, please. 90-inch Jawa relocation. This is a project that's going to support the I-190 improvements that are going to be performed by IDOT. So this moves the 90-inch Jawa water main and also a 48-inch water main. So this is currently under design. We're still trying to determine whether if it fits in one of the categories, but more than likely it's going to be an M&W project. Fourth quarter of 2022, and it's going to be over $20 million. Next project. Spine Road AIRSIDE relocation. Now that we're at the tail end of the Terminal 5, the extension part, the completion of that, this road here served part of the reason why we need to reconstruct it is that we ran utilities through there, primarily an electrical duct bank. That was never properly backfilled, so partly used it for a haul route. So now that we've completed it, or we're at the cusp of completing the Terminal 5 extension, we're going to go in there and rebuild the road, and we're going to move it airside. It used to be landside, so now it's going to be moved airside as part of those improvements for Terminal 5. This is an SBI 1 category. We anticipate a fourth quarter of 2022, and it's $5 to $10 million. Next slide, please. Taxiway Lima Lima Phase 2 extension. Again, this is work in the Terminal 5 complex campus. So this cleans up a lot of that irregular geometry there that we have, airfield geometry that we have. It provides for adequate separations for taxiing aircraft. This, I believe, will either be, if we're going to pursue grants for this project, it'll probably be DBE. And this is fourth quarter of 2022, and it's over $20 million. Next slide, please. Ring tunnel, electrical and lightning infrastructure. Again, this is in that ring tunnel. A lot of work is going into the ring tunnel in preparation for the work that's going to occur in Terminal 1, 2, and 3. We've had a number of projects there over the last 3 to 4 years. So this one addresses lighting, improves lighting, and then also life safety improvements as well. So more than likely, this one we're still under evaluating whether it would fit into one of the SBI, MBI categories. If not, it'll be an M&W, MBE rules will apply here. Second quarter of 2023, and it's estimated to be 5 to 10 million. Next project, please. Fire hydrant and backflow prevention improvements. This is to improve the water quality. We had a project the last few years where we completed some water main. It was providing poor water quality issues in parts of the airport. So this is a project that, a second part of that project that aims at improving the water quality throughout the campus of the airport. This is an SBI 1 category, fourth quarter advertisement of fourth quarter of 2023, an estimated contract value of 2 to 3 million. Next project, please. Going back to the Terminal 5 campus, this project will address some apron repairs in the existing facility side. So some of those gates 1 through, I think, 17 or 20-ish is where that original part of the building is. So it'll address some of the issues with the pavement there. Right now, we believe it to be an SBI 2 category, and we anticipate an advertisement of fourth quarter of 2023. $1 to $2 million is the estimated contract value. Next slide, please. Water main automatic meter readers. Again, this is another part of a project that not only improves the water quality throughout the airport, but also gives us the opportunity to add additional meters to understand if there's any leaks or any other issues. So this helps us improve the water quality as well as metering and understanding where the water consumption is throughout the airport. This is an SBI 1 fourth quarter of 2023, and we anticipate this to be a $2 to $3 million project. Next one. AMC building renovations. This is to the existing airport maintenance complex, not the newer facility, but the older one. So this addresses a lot of the issues, some code compliance throughout the facility. We anticipate this to be an SBI 1, and then the first quarter of 2024. $5 to $10 million is the estimated contract value. Next project, please. Terminal apron level overhead roll-up door replacement. This is in the Terminal 1 BC complex. This is a project that was approved through the lease agreement. So some of those doors are in need of repairs, especially since vehicles, tugs, etc. They go through there often. So this will make some improvements with those overhead doors. SBI 2 category, fourth quarter of 2024, and the estimated contract value is $1 to $2 million. Next slide, please. Staying in the Terminal 1 campus, this is additional apron level repairs. So masonry, tuck pointing, brick repair. A lot of this area with the tugs and those vehicles that move in and out of that area, it addresses a lot of the issues, a lot of the repairs with that that have been caused by those vehicles in and out of there. It's an SBI 2. Fourth quarter of 2024 is our estimated advertisement date, and then estimated contract value is $1 to $2 million. Next project, please. Terminal core upper level expansion joints and sidewalks. This is Terminal 1, 2, and 3. Every so many years, we have to go in there and replace the expansion joints. so we don't have that leakage into the lower level. We're just completing some of those infrastructure improvements in the lower level. So now we're focusing on the upper level with these joints to obviously extend the useful life of the deck and make sure we address any leakage issues. Has not been identified whether it would fit into one of the MBI, SBI categories yet. We're still determining that, but it's advertised in first quarter of 2025. And then the estimated contract value is 5 to 10 million. Next slide, please. Runway 10 left, 28 right, rehab. This is a requirement per FAA. We need to maintain friction and all the other things that come in compliance for Part 139. So every so many years, we have to go in there and rehab the runways. This has not yet been identified. It's slated for 2026. So if we pursue grants, it'll be DBE rules will apply first quarter of 2026, over $20 million. Next slide, please. I have a couple of opportunities here through CMRs that I will highlight. The AECOM Hunt Clayco BOA team will start advertising the Terminal 5 landside parking improvements, the first set of projects for that. As you can see here on the slide, they total anywhere from 32 to 36 with the different trade disciplines here. And then future packages will total anywhere from 15 to 18 and will include the completion of the site utilities once the structure and the facility is up. As you can see here, you would have to go to their website, which is listed here for those trade packages, and then for pre-qualification. Next slide. Turner Passion Aviation Partners, they're also performing extensive work here in this taxiway A and B. Right now, they're focused on the advanced utilities, and a couple of projects that are highlighted here are the grade separated roadway and then the taxiway Kilo and Lima tunnel work. And again, to pre-qualify and or for opportunities, you can visit the website listed here for additional opportunities. Next slide, please. Then the next couple of slides, I'll provide some data on MNW, MBE, WBE, SBI, MBI, the programs offered through Department of Procurement Services. So here you'll see the in dollar values, the commitments, percentages, and amount paid. So this includes the CMRs as well too. So at the bottom row, you see some of those commitments here and paid to date. Next slide. Overall for O'Hare 21, if you look at the bottom row, it shows some of those commitments throughout the years in dollar values and also number of bids and contracts. If you look at the column to the right, 23 opportunities is what we estimate in 22 and future years. So anywhere from 240 million to 397 million. Next slide, please. And then finally, resources. Next slide. So if you go to O'Hare21flychicago.com, you'll see these 3 different resources. If you're interested in any opportunities, either through the CMR's construction manager at risk, the middle here, procurement opportunities would be typical opportunities that we would also advertise through, not only through the CMRs, but also through Department of Procurement Services. And then the O'Hare 21 guide for small businesses. So you can visit, again, ORD21 Fly Chicago for these resources if you're interested in opportunities. Next slide. So that completes the presentation portion of it, and we'll move on to the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex, for imparting that great information. So as you can see, there's work out there at the airports as well. We're going to get into the Q&A now to make sure that we can get to all of your questions. So let me start at the beginning, Alex. This person is asking, 1 second. When there will be a more, let me see, we answered that one in the last presentation. We just received a note that target markets RFQ advertised and submit over a year ago has been canceled. Do you know anything about that?
That was slide number 5. So yeah, my understanding is that the letters have gone out, and within the letter there was a description as to what the issues were. That's my understanding. So we anticipate the third quarter of 2022 re-advertising those for those contracts in 2023.
All right. The current DPS buying plan list and upcoming RFQ for O'Hare Hilton renovation, is this design build or is it design bid build?
It is not design build. We are in the process of scoping out the design services. So we will hold the design contract. So whether it goes design bid build or CMR remains, but we're currently focused on the award of a design contract. So definitely not design build. Whether it ends up being design bid build or CMR still remains to be seen.
And I'm not sure if you mentioned this in your presentation, but the question is, are they planning any let me start over. Are there any plans for gender neutral restrooms?
That is part of the design that we're packaging together. So gender neutral, I would probably defer to our folks. I think we or through one of our other user groups. I think we could take that away. Whether there's a plan, we could take that, Jackie.
Yeah, we can take that offline.
Yeah, I think that one's a bit more specific. I mean, we'll build a bathroom, right? And then whether it's advertised as gender neutral or what signage, we'll work with our facility folks to determine that. So maybe that's something that we need to take away and provide an answer.
Great. What is the plan and timing for the future T5 hotel? This it was described at a previous event as a future standalone design build project. And if you can quickly, before you give the answer to that, just tell what CMAR is.
Construction manager at risk. We get asked this question all the time. When are we going to issue a design build project? And at least when it gets asked to me, I make it clear that it's not design build. We will issue a design contract, standalone design contract that we will hold, and then we would either do design bid build or we will use the CMAR. But this question gets asked all the time. and that is incorrect. We will not issue any of the hotel work as design build.
If you have questions, if you can put them in the Q&A panel, therefore we will only have one place to look for questions. I greatly appreciate it. So if you could do that now, those of you that have sent chat questions directly to me, if you could put them in the Q&A panel, I greatly appreciate it. If you would like to us to respond to you offline, then you could just leave it over there in the chat and we will respond to you offline on your question. Earlier this year, we looked at a CDA RFP for O'Hare Terminal 5, landside engineering design. It was a small business set aside, but the scope of the project seemed to be far beyond what a small business could accomplish. We would like to see the scope set aside projects be a little bit more limited to particular disciplines rather than redesigning the entire terminal building and aprons. That's, I think, just a comment. I don't know if you want to comment on that, Alex?
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, that is more of a comment, but we'll take that away and I'll work with our folks so that they understand, what the industry response is with regards to packaging. But yeah, we will definitely take that back when we're packaging the different scopes under the design.
Okay, and the target market CM RFPs that will be re-advertised at the end of the year would be similar to what was rescinded. That's a question. Or the scope is going to be different. They're asking a question.
The scope will be the same, fairly the same as what that original scope was. I think the only thing we'll go back is to take some of the questions that were submitted and then go back and make any changes or amendments as needed based on the feedback that we received. So largely the same type of scope.
Okay. Just trying to get some different questions. Are there any technical contract opportunities?
Technical, what was the question again?
It just says, are there any technical contract opportunities? I'm not sure if they just mean like professional service technical, like computer kind of technical.
Yeah, we can
Not,
we could take that back. I mean, and look through the buying plan and provide a better answer, or maybe the person that asked the question, maybe if they can clarify what they mean by technical.
Yeah, they're talking about a administrative.
Administrative.
Yeah, administrative positions type contracting opportunity.
Yeah. Whatever those opportunities are in the buying plan that extend beyond design and construction, those are the typical contracts that we would advertise. So I would point to the buying plan.
Okay. Last year in your presentation, there was a commissioning design opportunity as part of your presentation. Is there still plans and opportunities in the future for CDA? If so,
I can definitely take that back to the group. We're definitely still interested in the commissioning. They may just have been pushed off while we focus on the target market in the developer services. But I could take that back Commissioning is important, and so that just may have been a contract that has been pushed off a bit more while we focus on some of these other more important professional service procurements.
There's a question, are there any opportunities for air sanitation systems within the terminals or other parts of the buildings, or have that equipment for air sanitation and coil disinfection for energy saving opportunities?
We would have to, I think that's very specific. It's a very, very niche. I know we have the trades contracts. So I would I'd look at those trade contracts, those term contracts that that we issue for our facility folks, because it seems like that's very, very niche and very specific. When it comes to the existing HVAC facilities within the airport. So I'd point to that as the opportunities. But I can, like I said, I could also share this with our facility folks, so they could understand what, you know, when they do put together their new scopes for those contracts, they could understand if this is something that could be addressed there.
And I guess at some point on the call for environmental compliance, there was a question about industrial hygiene consulting services, RFP. Do you know if that's going to be advertised?
We could take this back again to our environment group.
Okay.
Yeah, I did see this advertised in the past. So I would we could take this question back to our environment group.
Was there a certain website for to visit for qualifications?
For the CMARs, on the slide deck, there's a website where they can go. You can 2 to 3 slides back. Yeah. So for example, Turner Passion and both AECOM Hunt, they have their own procurement websites, and you know, they pre-qualify as well as provide information on trade packages. And then for Department of Procurement, they'd have to reach out to your group, right, Jackie? Wait, I don't think you Department of Procurement does any qualification, do you?
We can get that information to them, the person that asked that question. We can get the link in the question. I mean, in the information of where they need to go to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get that afterwards. I'm just trying to look through my questions to make sure that I've kind of covered as many as we can today. Okay, here's one I didn't get to. I think this one is a question. Do you anticipate any moving and storage professional services needs in 2022 or 2023?
Moving and storage. You know, that sounds like it's also specialized. So that would be in the bid plan, in the buying plan, if we did have one of those contracts. That's not, you know, obviously this is beyond the design and construction scope. So if we do have an existing contract, we would obviously list it on our buying plan if it's a contract that would go back out for re-advertisement.
Right. I think I might have gotten to all of your questions. If you if I missed your question, if you can send it to me now before I close out, I greatly appreciate it. So I am just reviewing to see if we have any additional questions. Other than that, if we didn't answer your question right now, I will definitely reach out to you. I have your information on which you have registered, and we will at that point reach back out with the answer to your question. I will review all of these, get the answers for you, and then reach back out to you if we did not answer your question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, the person that put that comment in. Thank you. I appreciate it. I am just reviewing. We got a few more folks chiming in. I think I got them all. Will you be providing a copy of the slides and the recording? Let me say, if you hang on just a second, as soon as I get out of this PowerPoint, I will definitely move over and put in the chat area. If you came in slightly later, I'll put in the chat area again the information of where you can find the links for the PowerPoint presentation, and you can find the link for the recording. That probably won't be put in today. It will probably be put in tomorrow because we have to wait until all of the recordings have finished and been packaged and sent back to us through Cisco WebEx. But as soon as it has, I will post them online. You can check at www.chicago.gov/construction. That is the same area you went into to register for all of your workshops today. You can check back there. You will see a link that says PDF and a link that says recordings. You won't see it now because people are registering for the workshop, but you will see it as soon as I am able to post it. Okay. Are there any additional questions? And as I said before, I want to take this opportunity to thank Alex Leon from the Department of Aviation for taking his time to give us all of those great projects that you are able to bid on. Hopefully you found something there that you can either bid on yourself or you can partner with primes or other folks to bid on. We thank you for attending today's workshop because we value your opinion. Feel free to fill out our survey at the end so that you can put your question there. If you have more questions that we didn't answer here, you can put your question there. I will review those and get back to you with an answer. And you have a wonderful rest of your day. And we will start our next workshop and last workshop at 4 o'clock. And that will be with the Chicago Department of Assets, Information, and Services. That will be at 4 o'clock. So join us then for the last presentation. I know that one will be a wonderful one too. And they have opportunities for professional service as well as contracts as well. So see you then and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, everyone.